Hi guys! I'm Emily Senkoe. I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I'm a performer with Disney on Ice for the past 3 years. How'd I do? I'm
Oh,
Canadian, eh?
yeah, you are, eh? Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
I just want to start off by asking some simple questions to get to know Emily a little bit.
Okay, simple questions. I can do that.
Yeah,
Ask away, sis.
I will surely do that. Who is Emily Senkoe?
Honestly, we could go through my journals throughout the year and try and figure it out. Emily Senkoe is a coffee enthusiast, a friend, a little sister. She's everything. Who am I to myself? I've thought about this recently. I am independent. My entire life, I've just been a figure skater, a performer, and a best friend to people.
How did you come to be a professional figure skater?
Fun story for you. I was at my last competition, sectionals. I thought that was gonna be it. It was senior year of high school and I was like, okay, last competition and I'm hanging up the skate. I wasn't even thinking of shows. And then my coach, Ravi Walia, he was like, Emily, you would be an amazing show skater. And I was like, okay, like cool, like how do we go about this? And he sent my long program from sectionals that year to Judy Thomas, who is the casting director. And I got an email back from her. We would love to get a video audition from you, send one in, we'd love to hear back. And so I hopped on the camera, got on the ice, took a video. I sent that in and Disney on Ice came to Edmonton December of my senior year and I did my live audition there. And then, you know, I graduated. I didn't apply to any schools because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I got my contract. The rest is history. I started show skating.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. What
Yes.
was your audition like?
Audition was with Ryan Santiago. It was so scary. So I was 17 at the time. And my mom, she wanted me to do this all on my own. She's like, Emily, this is going to be your career path. This is all you. So she dropped me off. She let me get in the building myself. Didn't bother coming. Since I was 17, I wasn't allowed to sign anything myself. Brian goes, hey, like, is your mom here? Like, you're not eligible to sign these. Can you get your mom in here or like a guardian? And I was like, of course. And my mom strolled into my audition, signed the papers, and then she was leaving. And Brian's like, you can watch if you want. And my mom's like, no, like, this is all her. I'm leaving it for her to do on her own. Brian had us do the edges and everything. There was 3 other girls, or 2 other girls with me. There was 3 of us. The biggest thing to me was the ice. Oh my God, this is so tiny. Used to this full rink and you don't have that anymore. I started getting comfortable and the one thing I always do when I skate is like when the music's on and I know it, like I always mouth the words. Brian pulled me aside and was just like, love that, love your energy. And then I finished everything. I got in my car. My mom's like, how was it? And I told my mom everything. We went for dinner.
Aww.
That's my audition.
How did you find out that you got into Disney on Ice and what was your reaction?
This is a golden story for my family. I was in BC. It was my cousin's wedding. Love my cousin to death, but was like a bridezilla. Just throwing it out there. She knows it. We love her. My mom was upset, storming off. We got in the vehicle. Little me didn't have my own email address. So we got in the vehicle and we were storming off, gonna go do some final touches before the wedding was happening. My mom just starts crying and I'm in the passenger seat beside her. Oh my God, what's happening? And she's like, you did it. You got it. You're in. And I was like, what? Disney on Ice, like you got a contract. You're kidding. And after my mom had just yelled at like my entire family, we get out of the car, run back into the house, and we're like, guys, Emily's going on Disney on Ice.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a 360 turnaround. I was like, sorry, cousin, I'm taking over your day.
I never knew that. Actually.
Right? I know. Not many people do.
Talk about how we know each other and how we could be on the same show.
You and I used to compete against each other, and when I was making my audition videos, I had watched a whole bunch, and I had seen yours, so I knew that you had auditioned. I then saw like your post with your Disney quote, and I was like, that's such a Disney thing to do, being like, I did it, I got it. This was before I got my contract. I know you waited like a year to get a contract, right? And I was like, that's it. Like, guys, I'm not getting a contract. I was so heartbroken. I was like, I'm gonna have to wait another year. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. I messaged you, you're going to Disney. I was like, I'm going to Disney. You're going to Disney. We're gonna go to Disney together. Did I tell you? Funny story. When I was doing a interview, a guy that interviewed me knew that we competed against each other, and this was his question to me. He goes, is it weird working with people you used to compete against? And I was like, I don't know how to answer this.
What?
No, we're all friends.
We're all just a family here. Wait, this isn't a PR?
Like an early morning interview. My first one. I had no idea what to say.
Just the Disney family. I don't know what you're talking about. But you know how like you would wait after a competition and then they'd post it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like it was
Like
the most suspenseful thing. All of a sudden there'd just be like a swarm. Like you'd be walking up the stairs and people would be passing by like the board where they post the results. Everyone would just like whoosh, like a moth to a flame. You're just like, oh my God. Were you one of the first people who would go right up and see it, or would you wait for the moths to...
I would wait. Probably like the last one, just strolling in. It was probably like a walk by. I'm like, so like, how'd I do? The camera's the paper. I'm like, okay, not the best. And then kept walking. Could have done better.
Yeah. That's totally exactly how I was too. Like, I mean, you train so hard for it, and then like when you walk up to it, like you're telling yourself you don't really care. And
Yeah.
You're just like,
well, you know.
yeah, okay. Anyway, so, all right, okay, cool. Yeah, let's go.
So real. So real.
Oh my gosh.
My parents gave us letters as we like graduated, and my dad's like, I know that I wasn't always there, but I love that we put you in figure skating because it taught you that every single time you fall, you pick yourself back up. I never thought of it when I was skating, but it's so true. When I go through something bad, I'm like, well, you know, it's bad, but I can always do better. There's always something higher. There's always something that's gonna be good that's coming next. It's never all the way down, right?
Totally. It's getting back on the horse no matter how many times you fall down. Yeah.
And like, let me tell you, skaters fall a lot.
Yeah. Do you ever wear those pads? Like,
Okay, I never got pads, but did you ever get bubble wrap and then like playful duct tape and make your own? And it was like the thing to do.
I did that all the time. Well, okay, actually, my first thing was I had shorts. Like, you know, hockey players, like they put on like shorts, but you know, they're like
like the padded shorts.
Yeah, I had those. So I had it from my little tailbone, and I had full on shorts.
Would you put it like over top your leggings or underneath your leggings?
Oh no, I put them underneath, which is the worst thing you can do actually, because when people walk by, like, you're just like, it's so weird. Like, and then like, or it might, and then I graduated from that because I was so embarrassed and everyone would just be like joking at me. And then I graduated from that, and then I moved into, you know, the smarter thing to do, which was duct tape, bubble wrap, and a little like ball or a little pad, and you just put it in the one space.
Yeah.
But then it's like, did you ever get people walking by who like didn't know?
Having bubble wrap like down your pants?
Yeah. Yeah, like literally like you gotta do it fast because, you know.
Like when I skate, because I skated at West Ed, right?
Yeah.
And when I was starting to work on triples, it's like I would have like my bubble wrap this side, my other bubble wrap this side, and I would like put it in as like people are walking around the mall looking at me, and I'm like, yup,
yeah.
Bubble. I'm like, gob hat up.
You have to. I mean, it really did change.
I'd have like broken hips if like we did.
How was it leaving your parents and being away from home for so long?
I think the easiest year for me being away from home was my first year. You're going through every week, and every week something new, and it's like a new first, and the entire time I'm like, oh, I'm going to this place, I'm going to this place, and I never really thought I'm away from home. Obviously, like holidays, Christmas, birthdays, like it was a bit more difficult, but my parents are so you do you. This is your future. Then my mom literally was like, we're signing your contract. Like she was like, you're going, you can't say no, you know? So I think just having my parents' full support and just knowing that like no matter what, they're always there for me, helped me get through my first year with maybe a cry during Christmas time, which was like really nice.
Mm-hmm. How was it being away for the holidays for you? Like everyone has a different experience with it. How was your experience with that?
So Jessa, my trusty roommate, I'm grateful that I I found someone that I like just connected with and got along with so well, because holidays are difficult. It's never easy just being able to FaceTime your family and like that be your only connection with them. But Jessa was family. Like I woke up in the morning, we had a tough time. We both FaceTimed our families at the same time in our room. And afterwards, like we both just like kind of cried together, gave each other a hug, and Matt then had the chocolate chip pancake making in his place. After that, we were like, well, it's fine. Like we have our family on tour. There's nowhere else you would rather be than with family, and tour is family. Happy Christmas Eve! Happy Christmas! I think like everyone has seen like your ups and downs on the road. I feel like I think that's the most real I've ever been is on tour. Everyone sees when you have a good day, a bad day. I think like holidays, it's not that difficult because like you still are with family.
You all have something in common and something so close and personal to your heart.
Yeah.
It's easy to feel like everyone is your family. So your first show in Tampa, right? I think that was our first show.
Yeah, Tampa was our first show.
The crowd was so big.
Yeah.
How did you feel? Like, what came over you? Did anything come over you? How did you feel when you first got onto the ice, your first show?
Okay, so my first year I played young Elsa, and Annie, love her to death, was my little sister. She played Anna. And because of like the hurricane that came through, we had our 4-day rehearsal period, right? We didn't spend much time on nursery scene, which is what we called our little skit that we had. Annie and I were just like so nervous because like we hadn't gone over it. We hadn't really gotten many notes. We didn't know what to think. I actually remember hearing the audience, which I think back to it and I'm like, oh my God, I still remember how I feel. I was shaking and Annie's like, okay, we got this. Just like you and I out there, because it is like a very intimate number. And I remember like laying back down in the bed when Tinana does her solo, and I just like looked at the audience, saw how many people were there and saw all the lights and everything, and I got back and tears came. Yeah. I was like, this is so unbelievable. And I love that I still know how I felt on my first show day. And it's just one of my favorite things to think about. Throughout the years on tour, like you don't notice the audience, like that sounds so bad. You do notice the audience, but like sometimes it's just like toned out when it's not like as big of a crowd as like you're used to. Like I get chills still thinking about my first show.
Yeah, because you remember how you felt with everything being new.
Yeah.
Looking back, now that you are on a break from tour, what are some highlights that you will remember and hold on to for the rest of your life?
Obviously 100% my first show. That is just stuck in there. Other highlights would have to be when I played my first princess. I was in finale as Rapunzel, and everyone knew before me. I'm so bad at checking the board. And Jessa comes up to me and she's like, oh my God, are you so excited? And I was like, third show day, like what are you talking about? Yeah, she's like, no, like Emily, like you're doing Rapunzel. And I was like, what? That was just like unbelievable, because like you're actually a princess. Second year on tour is when I fell in love with skating again. This sounds weird to say, but I did. My first year, I didn't put in all of my effort. I, just was in it, rolling with the punches, this is my job. Like I loved Disney and I loved what I was doing, but I didn't care about skating as much as I used to. Jackson and I started working on pairs, and it was learning a different aspect and doing something different, and it was just so unbelievable. Like I wanted to spend every waking minute at the rink working on something and just making my goals happen and achieving them. There's no doubt in my mind that skating is going to be a part of my life for the rest of my life because of this. Third year on tour, which was this year in Europe, I got a track change, which is where your show track changes for all of you that don't know. I got to do Rapunzel with Jackson because we did pairs together. So that was really exciting because I realized that all of the work that we did the year before paid off, and they knew that we could achieve good shows together as partners. And also this year, I got to understudy Anna, and that's like the most amazing thing in my entire life. I loved it. Oh, I didn't say this. I get to meet kids a lot and interact with them, and that's also like the other really big highlight, just being able to talk to kids, get hugs from kids. You're a Disney skater, and no matter what, like when you're someone that's involved in skating with Disney, like I just know kids draw to that, and yeah, those are all my highlights.
With kids and the fact that you get to meet kids a lot, like
Yeah.
I want to talk about the PRs, which is like press and stuff that we did on the road. Kids got to meet Elsa and Anna and some of the Disney characters. We got to go to hospitals. Basically, we got to meet a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Do you have any stories that touched your heart and just kind of stuck with you from PRs with kids?
The biggest one, I was doing a hospital visit. I asked this one girl if she wanted me to say anything to any of my friends, being Disney princesses since I work with Disney. And this girl, I think she was 12, she said, "Can you tell Rapunzel I want hair just like her?" Because she was starting her chemo. I don't think I've ever done something where it just put my life into perspective. We walked through the ICU and all the kids that I met, they're so positive and they don't, like, they're going through so much and I don't even think they realize what they're going through, but they were all so happy. I don't think I've ever seen a kid's face light up so much. You leave and you're just like, I hope this kid beats whatever they're going through and I hope that they get the life that they want. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. But it was like so unbelievable and I just like forever love that experience because like the kids that you meet are just amazing. They push me to be like my best self, and really like when I have like a little bump in my road, I'm like, wow, like it's literally nothing, you know?
When you look at different lives like that.
Yeah, exactly. And you step on the ice and you still do your show. You put on a smile and you forget your 2 hours, forget everything that was like going on, and you just fully immerse yourself in the show and you make other people happy, and you are also like taking people away from their problems for 2 hours of that show. You know, like no person's like at a show and they're like, oh, I have to call this person. Like they just let loose, they sit down and they enjoy their time. And that's something that I love, is just because it also does that for me. I step on the ice and I'm like, nothing else matters. It's showtime.
That is one thing that Gig said, our performance director. He said it, I think he said it a couple times, but I just remember the first time I heard him say it, and he said, you guys need to remember during notes before a show, the people who come, they're coming for, yes, the kids, but also to get away from their stresses and their worries. And like, for me, all I want to do is help people. So that stuck with me, because I was like, okay, well, if I can help them in any way, it's to help them relieve themselves from any stresses or whatever they've got going on at home.
I think it was right after that like it really made me realize how impactful what we do is.
We're going to talk about lessons that you've learned on the road. This can be in or out of the show, but just like over, you know, you've been on the road now for like a couple years. What lessons did you learn on the road?
I have changed so much as a person, 100%. I think about this like now when I come home, I don't know who I want to be at home. On the road, everyone, I feel like show skaters are just like people in the show environment. You all understand each other very well. It's just a different atmosphere, and I definitely
want to be whoever you want.
Exactly, and no one's gonna judge you. Like they accept you for exactly who you are and who you want to be. I think like my personality, I've changed so much. I've just become more optimistic and loving and understanding. I think it's a weird part of my life where I'm just like, I don't know, I'm over this whole high school drama. Don't want to go out to the bar and have drinks anymore. Like I'm not 18. I need to find that ground, and that's the biggest thing that I have realized is I've grown so much. Like, I grew up, I started doing my own laundry, you know?
Yeah, that's growing up. It is a part of growing up.
It is a part of growing up.
Let's talk about like bloopers or falls, okay?
Ooh.
Do you have any noteworthy falls or, let's say, show mess-ups at all when you return?
Many. So many.
Okay.
So nursery scene. There's this part where young Anna goes like up the ramp and Elsa like strikes her, and it's when she gets like hit in the head. I don't exactly know what happened or how this happened. I stop and you like go like this, and then pyro goes off. I fell over my blades, and then I was just like on the ground, which everyone like Johan, he was one of our strikers, and so he would always watch that part. Then he came to me afterwards and was just like, is that choreographed? Like that looks so good. And I was like, oh my god, what if Gig really liked that? Now I have to follow every show. Like I was just like, I don't want to do that.
Do you have any weird hotel experiences?
This one where Annie and Evelina, myself and Jessa had rooms side by side, and we had the door, so we were able to like enter each other's room. Me and Jessa were trying to remember to like close that latch. I had left through Annie and Evelina's room, and we had our latch closed, so we couldn't get back into our room. So I had to lie to the like guys and say, oh, I just need to go into my room, grab something. And I told them Annie and Evelina's room, and I told them that I didn't have like my purse, so they couldn't ask for my ID. And I got in their room, got through the door, and had to like unlatch my door. And the guy was like, I exited through like mine and Jess's room. And the guy was just like, kind of looked at me weird, and then I had to like explain what happened. He's like, you could have just told us. And I was like, what if you thought that I was just like trying to break in or something like that? And he's like, it's fine. Like,
yeah, you don't look like someone who would like be breaking in. Looking back, what would you say that your favorite city was, or your favorite place to go?
It's so difficult. New York's probably one of my favorite places. I loved Italy, everything about it, the food, the culture. Rome and Milan are beautiful. And Asia, I actually loved Asia. And I did love China, just throwing it out there. Summer Palace and like all of their temples and everything. It's so beautiful. It was just really hot and humid. That's my only complaint.
If you could give a message to a young person, whether it be a young girl or a young boy, aspiring to be a professional athlete, maybe Disney on Ice or some type of show or tour or even the Olympics, what would the message be?
Enjoy what you're doing. You have to love what you're doing to have the drive to put in the effort. And that's one thing I find a lot of people lose. They like get the idea, I want to be a professional, and then they just drive themselves dry and just push themselves to a breaking point. Love what you're doing. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the mistakes and everything. That's my biggest thing. I would say there's 100% something else out there for you. 100%.
I completely agree with that. If you were to have a conversation with 10-year-old Emily, you were to sit down with her, what would be the piece of advice that you would give her?
Don't be nervous to be exactly who you are. Be yourself. Be weird. Be loud. Be confident. If people don't like you for who you are, there are other people that will. Throw yourself into it and don't be afraid.
What are your next steps?
Disney is on hold at the moment. That's how I'm putting it. That's how it's staying in my brain. Disney being on hold, I am going to get my can skate course so that I can coach. I'm nowhere near done with skating. I am going to upgrade some of my high school classes because, that's another note to little me. Pay attention in school and do your work. Yeah. Because sis, at 21, you don't want to have to upgrade. And I'm going to apply to university for dental assisting. That's my plan. And then I'm hoping that after I'm done my 2-year degree, I will maybe have the chance to go back on tour for maybe a year, maybe 2 years, and get the chance to say goodbye. That's what I want for myself, and that is my plan. I have it written down.
That's beautiful. Is there anything that you maybe wanted to talk about that I missed?
My parents moved in the middle of me being on tour, which was like obviously a very difficult time for myself. And I found this out at an airport. I got a text from my mom and I just started crying. And everyone followed, like all the girls followed me into the bathroom. And they're like, what's going on? I told them, and I told them everything that was going on in my life. And I've never felt so reassured that they were there for me through everything. And every single day, Jules, our amazing line captain, she would just come give me a hug and make sure that everything's okay. And that's like my favorite thing about tour is like it is a family. Even if you're having problems at home, you have support from every single person on your cast. And it's my favorite thing to think about. That's the one thing that I probably throw out there is it's a family and I love it so much. Shout out to Jessa for being my sister.
Totally unrelated. If you could sit and have a conversation with anybody you want, alive or dead.
Got it.
Somehow I knew you were going to have.
Yeah, I've had this like my entire life. I have 2 icons, Marilyn Monroe and Audrey Hepburn would be the 2 people. They are no longer with us, but I would love to sit down with them. 1, they were role models of their years. 2, just complete icons who both got bashed in news, articles, everything, but such amazing women. And I just want to hear like their story and what they went through and why they became the person they become. That's who I would ask or want to talk to probably. Mm-hmm. If not, I think the only other person would be like teenage version of my mom. I would just love to sit down with her and just see what she's like.
totally.
If me and my mom were like the same age, like would I be friends with her?
For everybody who does not know me or Emily, her and I are good friends, and I know Emily to be a very happy, positive person, and very bubbly and very outgoing, and her energy is always sky high, and I don't know how she does it. She's also a really hard worker. I remember you telling me one day your motto is "every day is a new day."
Oh, I love that you remembered that.
Of course I remember that. I think about that all the time. She told me one day that every day she wakes up, she looks at the day as a new day and it's a fresh start, and she looks at it as like a blank canvas, and she can do whatever she wants with that day.
Oh yeah.
And I just think that that mindset is so beautiful and rare, and I think it's really fresh air for a lot of people. And I just want to know how you stay so positive.
I honestly think it is the motto. If you have a bad day or you get in a fight with someone, I just always think it's awful to leave a day angry. So whenever something happens, like I always try and solve it before my next day comes. Every day's a new day. Like you can't dwell on your past. It happened. It's a part of your life now. It's a bad day. It's not a bad week.
Totally agree with you. And especially after those PRs and stuff that we did with kids, like it really kind of just, I like to think that I live by that same thing. I have to say, it's what has kept me sane.
Every day you get the chance to reinvent yourself. Oh, I love that you remembered that. That makes me so happy that, like, you know.
You have left a mark on me. I love you.
I did.
Thank you so much for being a part of this. Bye.
Bye. Love you. Have a great day.